So this might be a bit of a controversial one. Not really controversial, but I know like people might have a lot to say about it. Insecure people might have a lot to say about it, and that's okay. But my pretty girls are gonna get it. And it's more than that, so just like listen. When you are the triple threat, and when I say triple threat, I mean when you are very pretty, like very attractive, really smart, confident, your chances of finding a man are slim to none. And I know I rave on about insecurity in men, and I do so because it is such a big thing. I feel like it's a bigger thing that people are giving it like attention for and credit for. So when you are quote unquote the triple threat, very few men have the confidence and the security to want to date you and to be with you and to try and talk to you. 1 out of 3, even 2 out of 3 of the qualities I just mentioned is enough for a guy to feel adequate enough to speak to you. But all 3, I'm telling you right now, it's close to impossible. It's close to impossible. Think about it. Guys, think about that one girl you think, wow, this girl's like insane. Like, I don't understand why she's single. Think about those 3 things I just said. I bet you she has them all. I bet you she has them all. And in turn, when you think about the beautiful women that just so happen to always be in relationships, so happen to always date these higher value men, or does she possess all 3 of the traits that I mentioned? Probably not. Probably not. And this isn't even to like shame no one, be mean. And honestly, sometimes I think like, damn, like sometimes I wish I was just like a dumb bitch with a pretty face. Then I feel like dating would be so much easier.
And then the little caption on her video also says, the more insecure a man is, the more insecure he needs his girl to be. And I actually took a look at the comments of that video because I was interested to see what people were saying. And I actually saw so many comments from women about how men are always trying to humble them and how men are very intimidated by them. I'm not trying to discredit or disregard anyone's experience. I think it can be true sometimes, unfortunately. I think there are men out there who might feel inadequate or less of a man. If a woman is doing much better than him, or he feels like she's out of his league, right? I think this definitely happens. But it's not always true, and not every single man is this way. So I want to make that very clear.
Welcome back to the channel. You see the information on the screen, so you know what I'm about. So let's get to it. So this particular video comes from Courtney Ryan. And what's really interesting about this one is I've seen so many of these videos that are popping up over and over and over again. And it's all about this pretty privilege, and it's also about, oh, pretty girls have it hard, and all those other kind of things, and men are just so insecure. Now, confidence and arrogance sometimes can go together. And so the woman has to be, to me, she can be confident, but she can't be arrogant. Okay? And I've definitely dated women that were confident, but they were not arrogant. Okay? So they were not going to let me treat them any kind of way. They knew what they wanted out of life. Okay, so to me, as long as it's true confidence and it doesn't lean into arrogance, then I'm more than fine with that. But I do think that's the only word that's a little tricky for me, just simply because of the world that we live in. But what I see over and over again in all these videos is that I'm always looking at these women and I'm like, again, why are you dating that guy? Why are you dating him? Why do you think he was worthy when there might have been another guy right next to you that's not worthy? And then remember, a lot of time what you're dealing with too is you're dealing with an energy. You're dealing with this attitude that, somebody might just consider themselves to be better. The woman might just see herself as better. And then like it's always funny how all these videos show up, because I just did another video, which you guys might have saw yesterday. And the lady was talking about, how she was having problems and she didn't want to kiss the frogs, and she wanted to make sure that she had chemistry with the guy and all this other kind of stuff. And again, Pookie treats you like Pookie. Pookie always going to treat you like Pookie. That's what Pookie do. And if you don't know who Pookie is just that random immoral man, as the Bible says in 5 and 7, that is not going to wife you. He's not going to care about you. Okay, he just wants to hit it and quit it. And all these women keep talking about when they're running into men, it's like they're running into the same dude over and over again, because they're really just running into Pookie. But have you ever thought and considered to try to talk to the educated man? To talk to the man that walks with confidence in himself? That basically says, okay, when you walk and roll with me, we're going to move a certain way. And that's why I do like the fact that Courtney Ryan started it with the concept that no, not all men are like this. See, there's something about women, and again, this is not all women, but if you as a woman only run into these type of men, then that should let you know that you're either hanging out in the wrong places where good men are not hanging out, or maybe you're not really giving good men a chance and talking to them, or maybe you don't even know what good men look like. And see, high value men, I've always told you all, high value men are not marriage worthy men. So if you just want a high value man, there's plenty of them. There's plenty of them. I mean, I'll even say, like we have the big debacle right now with Cam Newton because, he went on the show and the lady was saying, well, you got 5 babies by 3 mamas and you haven't married any of them and you're making all these broken homes. Well, they were saying that about Cam, but here's the whole thing. He's a high value man. That is a high value man. According to most people's definitions on social media, that's a high value man. But see, I don't see him as a high value man like that because I don't really care about the high value. I'm concerned about the marriage worthiness. And that's why I always bring up Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is marriage worthy. Does this make sense? It's a huge difference in the two. Whether you like Barack Obama or not, he's marriage worthy. Whether you like Denzel Washington or not, he's marriage worthy. See, these men are in a whole different category. They're going down a whole different path. They treat you totally different. Their vibe is different. They're not out in the streets like that. They don't want to make babies all over America. They want to settle down with one woman, but a lot of women might find them boring, dull. But again, marriage is not this constant drama. And I think we have to, really think about, are we attracted to drama? It's like I told you, being with a person in a really great relationship is like walking in the park on a 78-degree day with a light breeze. That's how peaceful it is. But when you're with someone that's bringing you drama, you might as well have been dropped inside of a Tyler Perry film. That is the difference. But it's up to you to choose the men that are going to take you down that path.
So the triple threat is pretty or very beautiful, smart, and confident. And a couple different thoughts I have here. Again, not trying to hate on this girl or pick on this girl. There may be some nuggets of truth in what she is saying, but I think we need to remember before I even get into this, with dating and relationships and the human experience, things are not just black and white. There is nuance, and we always have to leave room for that, okay? I know it's annoying to say, I'm sure you're tired of me saying it, but I think it's so important and something that so much content that talks about these subjects is just totally lacking. So let me just say that. Now I have a couple thoughts. I think there's a few different things going on here. First one being, I think sometimes it is less about the men not necessarily wanting to date you and more about you not necessarily wanting to date most men. Because let's be honest, let's just be transparent here. Plenty of men will want to date you if you're beautiful, smart, and confident. But the real question is, do you want to date them? Probably not. The pool of men that you're selectively choosing from here becomes much smaller, and in return then can make it more difficult for you to find someone because of the fact that you're being more selective, right? I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but I think that's a reality. So maybe it is more difficult to date, but not necessarily for the reasons why this woman is alluding to. On the flip side to that, though, I think we do need to talk about the fact that there are many men who are feeling insecure about their situation and where they're at in life. Many men are falling behind in areas where women are now excelling: education, finances, career. The statistics are showing us the reality of this situation. So I do agree with her in the sense that there are a lot of men out there who might feel insecure about the situation that they're in, and maybe bringing a woman into that. You know, as women become more successful, they're then looking for more from men. And I think there are less men who have those things that women are looking for now. To also play devil's advocate there, are the things that women are looking for always the most realistic? Not necessarily. I think there are some things that are realistic that are sort of bare minimum. But a lot of people are very picky. Their standards are incredibly high, which is their prerogative. That's their thing to deal with. Who am I to say what she should want? Who am I to say what he should want, right? You know, I think having high standards is a good thing, realistically, of course. But when you set these standards for yourself, realistic or not, you have to understand that this can then make finding a person who fits that a little bit more difficult. I always like to share both sides, so try not to tune me out if I say something that you disagree with, because I always try to give the flip side too. I think it's important to do that. So I also want to mention that I think many women who are this triple threat, right? They're beautiful, they're confident, they're smart. They might only have experience with men who either A, pedestalize them, which maybe because they're insecure, intimidated, operating in a scarcity mindset, or men who are sort of F-boys, who have more options in women, who are less likely to commit. So it would make sense then why these women are single. They're not really attracted to and don't really want one group of the men, and then the other group of men are not committing to them because they have plenty of options in women, and these women are almost just competing for these high-value men. I hate using terms like that, but she said it in the video, and a lot of people say it. She mentioned towards the end of her video, think about the women you know who are always in relationships. Do they have all three of those things? Probably not. And to that I would say, that's just not true at all. There are plenty of women out there who are beautiful, who are smart, and who are confident, who are in healthy, wonderful relationships.
And I agree with that as well. It's always interesting to me, like I said, when I look through videos and different things like that, and I understand about perspective, and I always think we have to look at it from perspective. And I like the fact that Courtney went into that. You know, she gave a pretty balanced view of it, because that's just really what it is. You know, we pass by people all the time, and we negate one group of people, and then we uplift another group of people for whatever reason. I mean, literally for whatever reason. And I think that is really where the problem is. And I'm always trying to say that you have to, look at all sides of things. But one thing that I thought was really interesting, and I always think it's interesting when people talk about beautiful, because beauty is still in the eyes of the beholder. And of course, I'll be honest, like I say, most women, if they halfway take care of themselves, and I'm constantly saying this, and I really don't care if the woman is 18 or if she's 60. If she does a good job of taking care of herself, wherever she goes, men are going to say that she's beautiful. You know, I'll be honest, it's one of the main reasons why I don't say it as much anymore. I mean, I do say it every blue moon, but I don't say it as much because women hear it all the time. It's almost like they hear it so much that it doesn't even register anymore. So just because a man has called you beautiful, it doesn't even really mean that he means it. He really might not even be to the point where he thinks it. He just knows that that's what he's supposed to say. And for me, it's like I've said before, I truly believe that everyone is attractive to someone. Okay, but just because you're attractive to one person doesn't mean you're necessarily attractive to another person. And that's why I'm always bringing up people like Lori Harvey. And I don't mean to disrespect her or anything like that. I mean, she's on a public stage, but she's also at a very high level. All right. And I know a lot of people find her very attractive. And like I said, if she was in front of me and me and her were having a really great conversation, then yeah, I would definitely talk to her. I would not have a problem with that. Same thing with some of the other, celebrities out there. But I can't look at Lori Harvey and say, okay, she is my version of a 10 out of 10. I could say she's an attractive woman, but she's not necessarily my version of a 10 out of 10. And see, that's the key element. It's not necessarily whether or not a woman is decently attractive. It's how that man views her or how a woman views a man, right? And see, that's the whole thing. That's why when people say, oh, well, it's because I'm beautiful, it's because I have this look, that's why no one loves me. I'm sorry, I can't go down that route with you. Because believe me, no matter how beautiful you think you are, there is somebody that thinks you're ugly and they think you're weird looking, and then there's somebody else that will trip over themselves, to be with you. I've actually seen on TV, I remember watching a long time ago, like the Miss America pageant, back when I was, still married. And I was watching it, and I remember some of the women on stage, and I remember just looking like, and I was thinking in the back of my mind, I was like, how do these women miss whatever? How are they the representative of the prettiest woman, or the best woman in their environment? Right? But really, they're not really the best representative per se. They're the ones that we see on TV. But first of all, how many people put their daughters in pageants? That's actually rare in itself. And then for the women to go through the grooming to stand up straight and to speak well and to be able to be in front of an audience and to move gracefully and all these other types of things, that's very rare. They generally want taller women, not shorter women. So it's probably hard for a woman to be under 5'7" and be in these pageants. Again, so that's very rare. So now you're looking at a very small subset of women, and the woman just had to bubble to the top of that small subset. But that doesn't really mean she's the prettiest woman in that environment. There could have been a woman much prettier that was 5'3". But that's the whole point. And one of these women might believe, oh, I am Miss Georgia, so I am the prettiest woman in Georgia. No, you were just the woman chosen, okay, in order to represent Georgia. But there literally could be 1 million women prettier than you. And so that's the whole point. And if women really feel that they're all this intimidating to really great men, then just either get around better men, or I dare you to just try to dumb down your prettiness for a little while and see if you get a different reaction. But anyway, I just thought this was interesting. Please like, please subscribe. Remember, we have the join button if you want to go deeper into membership, and I will see you all in the very next video.